I hope you enjoyed reading that Do Now passage. I know some of you have mentioned going to the Great Wolf Lodge or wanting to go to the Great Wolf Lodge, so I really enjoyed reading that passage. But now that we've completed that one, it's time to switch our focus to a brand new passage. This passage we'll be reading today is called Paul's Pacts. Let's go ahead and preview it. Remember that when we preview our text, we need to decide if it's nonfiction or fiction. We can do this by scanning our text and noticing any text features. Let's take a look at what our passage looks like. This is our passage. What kind of text features do you notice in Paul's Pacts? Some of the text features that I notice is the title, the paragraph numbers, and the illustration or the photograph. I put that as a photograph, but that looks more like an illustration to me. So this is an illustration. We have the title and the paragraph numbers. Now that we looked at our text features, let's go ahead and decide if this text is fiction or nonfiction. What is a fiction text? That's right, a fiction text is something written that is not true or a made-up story. It's usually not real. Now, what about if nonfiction? What is nonfiction text? What is a nonfiction text? That's right, nonfiction text is something written that is based on real facts, people, and events. It's usually real. I'm going to leave Paul's Pacts up here for a few seconds, and I want you to scan the text. Remember, when we scan the text, we are not reading word for word. We are just looking at the text features, looking at all of the words quickly to try to give us some information about what it might be about and if this looks like a fiction or a nonfiction text. Now that you've had some time to scan, what do you think? Is this text fiction or nonfiction? This text is nonfiction. Now that we've looked at our text features and we know this text is nonfiction, I want to know what you think this text will be about. I think this text will be about someone named Paul who has a backpack. I think this because the title is named Paul's Pacts and we see an illustration of a backpack. The only way to know if we are right about our predictions is to read the passage. So let's go ahead and look at our two thinking jobs before we start reading. Your job is to look and listen to the words the teacher reads, and your second thinking job is to notice who or what the text is about. What are your two thinking jobs? Now that you've shown me you know your two thinking jobs, it is time to read Paul's Pacts. Remember, when we read our passages, we are going to stop and gist along the way. Sometimes I will give you the gist, and other times I will ask you to gist along with me. Paul's Pacts. In the summer of 2009, I decided I wanted to do something to help the people of my small town in Orange, Texas. I wasn't sure where to begin, so I started researching and looking for opportunities. One day, on my way home from school, I noticed a man underneath an overpass. The man held a sign that said, "Hungry." That reminded me about a soup kitchen that served and fed the homeless in the community. Let's pause there, and I want you to try and write a gist statement for this section. The gist statement that I wrote is that the author wanted to help people in his town. Let's go ahead and keep reading. I decided it was time to help whenever I could, so I began volunteering twice a month at the soup kitchen. I still felt like that wasn't enough, and there was more I could be doing to help others. I began looking for opportunities in my own life as I traveled back and forth to school, church, and other activities. Let's pause there and let's talk about the gist for this section. The gist is that the author started to help out as much as they could and looked for many volunteer opportunities. Let's keep reading and see what happens next. One day, I overheard a student telling a teacher that she didn't have much food at home and she wasn't looking forward to summer because she wouldn't eat regularly. I couldn't believe my ears. I had never realized there were kids at my school who didn't have 3 meals a day. I had always taken it for granted that the students I went to school with were eating enough just like me. Let's pause there, and I want you to try your best and write a gist statement for this section. Remember, a gist statement is a short retelling of what you read. Take a look at my gist statement. The author learned that not every student has a meal and enough food to eat at home. Let's keep reading. I came up with an idea for a backpack program that I called Paul's Packs. I even decided to speak at a school board meeting to get approval to start the program in my own school. Everyone was supportive and offered to help me raise money to start the backpack program. Each backpack contained non-perishable items that would not ruin, such as soup and crackers, which the kids could eat at home. Let's pause there and let's look at the gist statement for this section. The author created Paul's Packs, which helps give kids backpacks full of food that they could eat at home. Now let's finish our passage. The first year, I was able to provide 25 backpacks to local children. Now, my program provides over 50 backpacks every year to needy children in Orange County. I am very proud of the fact that Paul's Packs has made the lives of others a little easier. Now that we finished this section of the passage, let's look at our gist statement. Paul is able to give backpacks to local children and help make their lives easier. I think that was really cool of Paul to be able to create a program that helps other people. We also learned a lot more as we read the passage. However, now it's time for us to write a gist of the whole text. Remember, a gist is a short retelling of the text. Try your best. Take a look at my gist statement. I said that Paul decided that he wanted to help people. After realizing that not every kid has 3 meals a day, he decides to create Paul's Packs, which helps feed other kids. We wrote our gist statement. Now it's time for us to find the main idea. How many steps are there to find a main idea? That's right, there are 3 steps. Step 1 is to know your topic. We need to know what the text is mostly about. Are we learning about someone or something? Then we're going to move on to step 2. We need to look for clues. What ideas are being talked about? So we need to find what words or headings or illustrations are being repeated over and over again. This is usually what the author wants you to know about. And then in step 3, we're going to put it all together. What does the author want to teach us about the topic? Those are 3 steps, but let's break them down one by one and move on to step 1. In Paul's Packs, are we learning about someone or something? We are learning about someone. Who are we learning about? That's right, we're learning about the author, Paul. Now that we know we are learning about the author, let's see if we can find some repeated ideas. I already noticed that we are going to be talking about helping. I wanted to do something to help the people of my small town in Orange, Texas. Let's see if we can find help a few more times. I see the word opportunities, help. I see the word help again. Volunteering. That's not help, but I know that when you volunteer, you're helping. He said that he was looking for more opportunities. It looks like these first few paragraphs are all about Paul helping. But then we move on to food. I see the word food, eating, meals. It's not food or eating, but when you have a meal, you're going to eat it. Let's see, are there any more words that have to do with food here? I see soups and crackers. It looks like this next section is telling me more about food and eating. Are there any other new ideas? Oh, I see the word backpack here. Here, I see a picture of a backpack. Backpack. I see the word backpack a lot of different times, and that reminds me of Paul's packs. So we have some repeated ideas here. In this passage, we are talking about helping, we are talking about eating and food, and we are talking about Paul's packs. And we also learned in step 1 that we were learning about Paul. So now we need to put all of this together. What is the author trying to teach us about Paul helping, eating, and Paul's packs? What is the author trying to teach you about the topic? Is it A, Paul is lucky because he has enough food at home? B, Paul likes to give people soup? C, Paul likes to help people who don't have a lot of food, so he created Paul's packs? Or D, Paul has a lot of backpacks? It is C. Paul likes to help people who don't have a lot of food, so he created Paul's packs.